Alright, so I've been reading the comment section, right? And I've seen a lot of people mention that they would love to see more viewer games. So what I got for you today is a Platinum League match of ZERG versus ZERG. Now, I think I have to warn you in advance in case you're unfamiliar with these kind of matches. Usually, in particular, the viewer-submitted games of ZERG versus ZERG, they are a little tough to watch. Let's just say that in the past, I've seen like 1,000 Zerglings die to like 2 Banelings, and it gets really painful. As a Zerg player at heart myself, it gets really painful. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started today by introducing the first player spawning here in the bottom right-hand corner of Port Alexander LE. He's already building a pool really early on. We're currently looking inside of the main of Frankie's. Frankie's? Frankie's. I think it's actually Frankie's, although Frankie's does sound nice. And his opponent, going for that hatchery first on the low ground, he goes by the name of Diamond Dog. I do have to compliment their nickname creativity though, that's excellent. Diamond and dog is not a combination of words I would have ever read if it wasn't for this particular game, so that's good work. Anyways, 6 Zerglings are already on their way. Apparently a drone is gonna make its way towards the low ground, so an expansion will be coming up. This is like an awkward, sort of committed push here from Frankie's, where he's gonna be able to get himself link speed here eventually too, but he's leaving the drones in gas and he's taking an expansion, and these Zerglings are not gonna get their upgrade for another little while, so already this is like kind of like he does pull the drones out of gas eventually. Oh man, that's 8 wasted gas. Anyways, that's already a little bit of an interesting start, and not quite a start that I would advise. Luckily here for our red player, Diamond Dog is sending his overlord towards the landing platform, towards the launch bay right over here. So he will not know about these Zerglings arriving on his side of the map right at this point in time. Looks like they are gonna bypass the natural altogether, headed for the main base. I would love it if he takes care of some of those drones. Frankie, hey! Frankie, guaranteed damage. Frankie, guaranteed damage is the name of the game. Drones is... Please don't. Please don't kill the spawning pool. Oh man, well, he's dealing damage right now because the drones aren't mining. Oh dude, just put your drones back to work. Okay, well, luckily here, eventually, I think Frankie's is going to be deflected, although these drones were mining for such a short amount of time that Diamond Dog doesn't actually have the resources to continue making the Zerglings right now. I mean, finally, we do see some new ones coming up. Link speed does finish. The Queen will be picked up. Is he going to go after the workers? Yes! Get the workers! Go get the workers! Go get the... Frankie! Go get the workers! Frankie! No. Frankie! Go! Frankie, go get... Frankie, go get the workers! He's gonna kill the spawning pool. If he cleans up all of this, he's gonna continue attacking the spawning pool. Watch it happen. It's gonna happen right here. Frankie already sitting on 750... Guys, I swear, I know that half the comment section is gonna be like, oh, no way, Lowko, that these guys are Platinum League. Honestly, when I loaded up the replay, the border, it showed that they were Platinum. I mean, that's just kind of how it is. Anyways, no real damage has been done, though. I mean, sure, Diamond Dog, he's lost a bunch of time, I guess. He's got that spawning pool now being reconstructed here. He's making about 1,000 Banelings to get rid of these Zerglings once and for all. But, like, if we take a break right now, right? ZERG versus ZERG, it is very much so a game of drones. And I've made this joke 1,000 times, but in the game of drones, you win or you die. Whoa, is that game? No, I don't think so. No, he's just saying well played. All right. There is no middle ground in the game of drones. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, whew. So... Since right now, right, Frankie has been the one that's played really aggressive. And sure, he's killed a spawning pool and all that. He still does not actually have a superior amount of workers. Whenever you're playing StarCraft 2 and you manage to get into your opponent's main base, always go for the guaranteed damage. Sure, killing a hatchery would be really nice. Sure, killing a spawning pool is kind of nice as well, although I don't really know exactly what it achieves. What's really nice, though, is slowing down your opponent's economy, because A, you're first off almost always guaranteed to kill a couple drones, and B, I mean, you will be able to actually win the game in the long run. That's kind of the damage that you want to go for in SC2. Now, Diamond Dog, though, still doesn't really have a whole lot of minimap vision here. He did decide to, like, okay, guys, okay. I don't just, okay, let me give these players some tips as well, and maybe some of you can get some usefulness out of it too. In general, in Zerg vs Zerg, you want to put your overlords on the attack path towards your opponent's base. Because there's not a whole lot of anti-air until mutas are out, or until hydras are out, or until ravagers are out. In the early game, you can 100%, say you're Diamond Dog, right? You can 100% put one overlord over here, and then another one like right over there. That way, not only can you keep track of when your opponent might be taking a third base, but you can also keep track of whether or not he's moving out across the map. That way you have some time to respond. It's really, really, really important to put those overlords on the attack path. Now, Frankie, I mean, he's got one overlord checking out the center bit, which is just like barely missing, I think, all attack paths here in the center, so that kind of hurts. And then there's another overlord, I guess, headed towards a much more powerful position where he's going to be able to keep track of his opponent's army movement. Okay, so where is this game going to go right now? Frankie is going to be able to get himself that evolution chamber. He also did get a Roach Warren. He's been building up a relatively large Roach count already, whereas Diamond Dog, he's really worried about spore crawlers. Or about mutas, I guess. So he decided to go and build a bunch of spore crawlers. Now, obviously, we know that that is not the case. One of the ways you could try and figure that kind of thing out is by sacrificing in an overlord. For example, sending this one in right now to see the timing of the lair would be really, really helpful. Diamond Dog, though, he says, dude, that set me back, LOL. Did it, though? Did it, though? That's the real question here. I mean, you've been building static defense. You're still in a really good spot here worker-wise. You just don't have that big of an army here. Once these roaches do move across... Frankie, by the way, he's not talking. He's playing a game, dude. He's got no time for conversation. You know, Diamond Dog, he doesn't really have a big army here. He did get a link speed. He's getting a whole bunch of spines as well. He's playing super safe. And actually, all things considered, he's not going for the Spire as well. He did take the 4 gases here, finally saturating the 4th one too. I actually think I prefer the position here of Diamond Dog. Even though it's been a bit of a messy start... As long as he gets enough army out to eventually deal with this, and this is good, right? Look at that. Frankie getting himself some vision. He now realized roughly what is going on there near the front, and he knows that his opponent is super defensive. So that apparently right now triggers him to go for the move out right here with those roaches. +1 missile, about halfway done. I would love it if you would wait just a little bit longer. Just until +1 missile is done, which is absolutely massive, in particular in Roach versus unupgraded Zergling fights. Normally a Roach takes 3 shots to kill a Zergling. With +1 missile upgrades, it only takes 2 shots, which makes them way stronger in these kind of battles, so I would kind of like him to wait, although the Evo Chamber was very late, and if he waits too long, the Spire, it's out. It's going to be able to start producing some Mutalisk right now as well. So mutas are indeed underway. +1 missile is about, I would say, 20 seconds or so from finishing. Frankie does want to engage right around this time, but more spines are just about to finish as well. Now, I do have to compliment both players. They've been doing an excellent job spending their money, which is absolutely critical. That's probably the reason why they are indeed in Platinum League and why they have been progressing through the ladder. While their build orders are a little bit messy, and I think they could do a much better job as far as the builds go. This is 100% still, you know, a game winnable here for either side. So Frankie, he did finish up +1 missile. He does start up +2 missile, and he does engage right now with +1 missile, finishing up. Although the Banelings get some massive connection there. The mutas now also show themselves, and there's 5 spine crawlers here near the front. There's no way Diamond Dog is gonna be all too worried about these roaches, and I love this decision. Instead of fighting the roaches, he decides to move straight across the map with the mutas that are left over. He did decide to get himself the +1 flyer carapace upgrade, which is great in muta versus muta battles. Although that's not the case in this particular match, you should still be able to get some value out of it. Now, the mutas are going to be able to make their way inside of the opponent's main base. A couple of spore crawlers are just about to finish up. One queen holding the front so far, but the spores are out. The queen does go down, but man, spore crawlers are really good. Spore crawlers are really good at the same time. The roaches are trying to move forward. Looks like they did kill at least like 1 or 2 of those spine crawlers, but the mutas, man. Oh, Diamond. Oh, man. That spore crawler has 6 kills. The other one has 3 kills. Oh, that's painful. That's painful, and it looks like the amount of roaches here available from Frankie's is still gonna be very, very significant. They are gonna be able to pick up these spine crawlers one at a time, and while they are bumping into each other, the mutas are still distracted. They are not being used defensively. Diamond Dog says the number 4, which is his absolute favorite. Once again, ooh, is he gonna go after get the spawning pool, mate? The spawning pool is the top tier, the top tier performer this game, okay? If you shut down the spawning pool, actually at this point in the game, all kidding aside, it's actually a good idea. Spore so strong, says Diamond Dog. Now the Spire is taking a tremendous amount of damage as well. Diamond Dog main base is completely overrun. I was also complimenting his spending earlier on, right? But at this point, there's almost 3,000 resources, not even almost. There's 3,000 resources in the bank, which is a lot. And while these mutas are eventually going to be able to clean all of this up, the roaches have killed so many workers that at this point in the game, look at that, 33 of them went down. That at this point in the game, only 10 of them remain. A couple of roaches, though, still feeling suicidal. They decided to, you know, walk down the ramp once again where the mutas are flying. The mutas once more idle. There we go. They're going to be able to attack move towards the natural one. I think eventually all of this will be cleaned up. Now, let's have a look at the current state of the game. There's a single drone remaining, and it's mining gas. Diamond Dog is once again rebuilding a spawning pool. That's the 3rd one this game. He does still have a couple of mutas up in the air, and he is still flooding a lot of resources. So the larva that he does have, he also got enough overload, right? With the larva that he does have, he's going to be able to start making more and more workers, and he's going to be able to take control of the map once more. Frankie's did not clean up this game yet, although there's no denying Diamond Dog is in an absolutely awful position. He's got himself the Hydra Den right now too. He built some additional queens, which I do like quite a bit. He killed his opponent's spawning pools, and only just now are once again queens going to be able to get queued up. Although he's not doing so just yet. This is a bit of a messy game. Although he doesn't really have a lot of anti-air, and I think for the time being, Diamond Dog is going to be able to keep these mutas roaming the map. As long as he's active with them, he can 100% contain his opponent on 2 bases. And as we all know, by about the 10-minute mark, the main and the natural are going to start running low. And obviously, the natural here was rather late. But if Frankie does not get himself a 3rd base up, right, he's going to have a hard time mining. He's not going to be able to really get that much of an army out as well to counter all of these mutalisks. +1 melee now being started up as well. And Diamond Dog, all things considered, is still in this. The fact that he had such a big bank does really allow him to crawl his way back into game. Now, don't get me wrong, though. Supply-wise, he's still in a horrible position. He will have to try and pull a rabbit out of a hat in order to come back in this scenario. But this is... I sympathize with Frankie's here because I've been in this scenario 1,000 times myself. It's really hard right now if you're the Zerg player in red to make the decision to move across the map. Like, when do you actually attack? How many roaches do you get? How many hydras do you get? Banelings are very good when it comes to cleaning up Hydralisk. However, if you let your opponent with the mutas sit back for too long, they take control of the entire map, and you all of a sudden end up in a terrible position. Baneling speed, so centrifugal hooks right now, is being researched here for Diamond Dog. So he's going to be able to get himself that Hydraling Bane army, or sorry, Mutaling Bane army. And if the Banelings connect properly here with the Hydras, the mutas can just clean everything up, right? These Hydras do not have any upgrades, so they do not have groove spines or muscular augments, so that means they're about as slow as roaches. Also without their speed upgrade, by the way. Even though we did arrive at a lair. This is a tricky... Oh, man, I don't even know if you can take that fight. That's a lot of links. That's a lot of links right now, and more of them are coming out. Frankie's, you gotta be careful, man. Ooh, I like your... Oh, man. I like the fact you decided to move out here, but I don't know if this is the time. Obviously, I've got full vision of the map, right? It makes it easier to judge these kind of moments, but... Oh, man. Okay. The walk of shame. The walk of shame. Back home. See, I think... he's just testing the waters, man. Sometimes you gotta walk your Hydralisk. It's like a 10-foot tall, you know, beast of a thing, but it does need fresh air as well, okay? So, you know... Just walk it back home. It's a safe place. There you go. Alright, muscular augments does start up here eventually, so that's the Hydra movement speed. Now, there are Banelings out. Baneling speed is available. How many mutas is that? It's only 8 mutas. I want to believe here in Diamond Dog, just because he lost 2 spawning pools and a spire, which is just such a mess. Like this... It's not really the amount of resources you want to lose at this point, but man, the double spawning pool snipe. Alright. So where exactly is this game gonna go? Apparently we do have a suicidal overlord here. That one decided to fly in straight into the spore crawler, getting himself a bit of a kill as well. There's not that many banelings. Diamond Dog though, he is getting himself +1 carapace. He does have some solid upgrades here, all things considered. Third base once again is forced to get cancelled. A couple of overlords will also be killed. And this is going to be the engagement where the banelings will have to roll into the hydras. If somehow the roaches can tank for the banes, they're going to be in an excellent spot. Guys, pay attention! Guys, pay attention! Oh, pay it! No! Attack move! Just, oh my... Oh my god! First the hydras needed fresh air, and now they were all hugging each other. Like, what was that? Oh, Frankie, no! Frankie, what was that? Get his spawning pool, Diamond Dog. It's right there in the back. Get it. You guys can't see, but I was... I was facepalming there. Diamond Dog, though, just, you know, rubbing salt in the wounds. He's like, hey, buddy, pretty sure you misclicked. And Frankie, being the gentleman that he is, he decides to GG out anyway. Oh, man, that game was a mess. That game was an absolute, absolute mess. Okay, so since I was like, you know, I was making a little bit of fun, right, of both of these players. Let me give a couple of pointers as to where I think you can improve very easily in ZERG vs. ZERG. First off, going hatch gas pool is fine as long as you don't take it too late. So I would say like 16 hatch, maybe 16 gas, 16 spawning pool. That's like a really relatively safe opener as long as your micro is on point. If you feel like you're struggling in ZERG vs. ZERG, go ahead, build the spawning pool first instead, then the expansion, then the gas. Okay, still at 16 supply. Just remember 16 supply mark and you should be okay. First thing you do with the first gas you get yourself Zergling Speed. Every single game. Link Speed is absolutely the best upgrade in ZERG vs. ZERG. It keeps you safe in the early game, and while you can technically skip it in some scenarios, I would not recommend doing so if you are playing on the ladder. Second 50 gas, get yourself the Baneling Nest as well. Now this is where the point in the game where a lot of people kind of lose it in ZVZ. Usually what I recommend to people that I coach is to spend the first larva that pops off of the 2 queens that inject the hatcheries. The first set of larvae that pops off, make that all into Zerglings and get aggressive. Play a little bit aggressive with Ling Bane. Now, I know that Ling Bane micro is really hard, but the only way you're gonna get better at it is by actually microing and practicing. So I know a lot of people rather skip that part in the game, but really, like, you just simply have to practice it in order to get better. And I think, you know, if your micro gets a little bit better, a lot of players are going to be able to just simply cruise through, for example, games like this one with just proper Ling Bane micro, right? If, you know, if you play Ling Bane, I can guarantee you can reach Grandmaster League in ZERG vs. ZERG. It sounds dumb, but, like, you can win games with just Lings and Banes as long as your control is good enough. So that's, like, the first state in the game. Secondly, besides the build, right, I think you need to put your overlords on the attack path. So as I tried to point out during the game, try and keep track of when your opponent is expanding, but also when he's making army and when he's trying to send it across the map. Third, do make sure you transition to watch roaches at a suitable time. Now, a lot of the people I coach, I see them taking roach warrens far too quick. Usually at like a high level of play, players do not really take their roach warren until they have about 40 drones. Which is when they have like the third base done, when there's 2 bases fully saturated, that's roughly the time that a roach warren usually gets planted down. So just try and keep that in the back of your mind. And other than that, try and push when upgrades finish. So for example, what Frankie's was doing in this game, he decided to push right when +1 missile was done. That's an excellent timing at which to attack. Now, obviously, that does make the assumption that you have your Evo chamber taken at the correct time initially anyway. So a good timing for your Evo chamber, just as like a general rule of thumb, is when you start up the lair, start up an Evo as well, or when you start up the Roach Warren, start up an Evo as well. And those couple of rules are going to likely help out quite a bit in the Zerg versus Zerg matchup. Because it's a tricky one. I know it's very difficult. And I hope at the very least that some of you got some value out of just those couple of pointers that I just tried to give you. Other than that, though, I do hope that you enjoyed watching this game. If you want me to cast your game in the future, you can go ahead and submit it to replays@LowkoTV. Just simply attach it to the email, and maybe I will be casting your game here next. But other than that, I want to thank you for watching. Have an amazing day, okay? Do not forget to smile. You can check out my merch at www.lowko.tv/merch. And you can also join us on Patreon. Shout out for those of you that decide to support there already. I really do appreciate it. But I really want to thank you for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile. And I'll see you once again in the next one.